you for coming in to today's podcast. Today we are launching Elevated Freedom Podcast. And with me I have my good brother Brandon.
What's going on, guys?
Being the first ever podcast that we are releasing, let's talk about what we're doing. Elevated Freedom is a community of like-minded people who are looking for that next step to break through those barriers in their life.
Yeah, man. And I think, nowadays, I think people sit back and they see all these influencers and all these people that are already millionaires and they've already been there, and we're just trying to build a community of the everyday people that are just looking to crush goals and get to that next level in their own lives by improving every single day.
Brandon, like I said, he's my accountability partner. We go back probably a year ago now since we've been really doing this together, and every single time it's like, I'm feeling in that funk, and I'm like, man, fuck, I don't want to do this shit. I rely on him and vice versa to be like, hey, bro, I'm really feeling down right now to give me that push. And also part of it is like, you don't want to lie to yourself is the biggest thing. But also, if you got somebody who's like, let's go run 10 miles today, and you're like, yeah, we'll do it. And then 10 minutes from now, you're like, I'm not doing that. The run comes, and you're like, I'm not going to be there.
Dude, and that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing for everybody because when you first want to start into a fitness journey or you want to get a promotion at work or whatever it is, there's always like that embarrassment factor where you don't want to go to the gym and you don't want to take that first step because right now you're fat, you're out of shape, you're not putting yourself into your job and actually trying to improve. You're just going through the motions. But when you have an accountability partner like I have in you, like you said, it holds you accountable to every single thing you do. And as an example, we've been doing the thing now where every morning we text each other at 4 a.m. Just so you have that person that you know is waiting for you. And vice versa. If I don't get up that morning and you do, I know that when I do get up, if I slept in, that there's going to be somebody like, hey, man, what happened? And I think that
Right.
that's what we're trying to do with Elevated Freedom is provide a community for that.
Now that we're opening up our first podcast, it's like, if you can have a group of people together, they're going to break down mountains. And I really believe it's the truth because before me and you started doing this, I mean, I was on a fitness journey, but I was feeling the motions start to fall back. And then we started doing our thing, and then boom, I'm back. My fire is relit, and we're cruising back through.
Because we saw each other this past summer and we set a goal at the time. I know we're going to talk about it, so we might as well bring it up now. We were going to run 10 miles. Well, we were both in the military. We're both military background, so we've had to run, but it was because we had to run. It wasn't because we chose to run. There's a big difference. When you make the decision yourself and you set a goal for yourself and you take the steps necessary to accomplish that, it means more to you. You build more confidence in yourself. But us, as two guys that didn't like running, had never set a goal to run anything. I never thought that was going to happen in my entire life.
Yeah.
And in 3 months' notice, we're like, yeah, we're going to go to DC. None of us live in DC, and we're going to run 10 miles. And we showed up and we ran 10 miles. And it was one of the best experiences of my life.
Yeah. We'll have to, we might have to do a whole episode on just that whole experience, but
I think so.
that was a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so crazy. We just set that goal and we crushed it together. And that's a big thing with Elevated Freedom here is the togetherness. I don't know if I've pushed that point across enough, but
I don't think we could say it enough. You know what I mean? Because I think that's what the industry's missing. And that's what sets Elevated Freedom apart is when you look at these guys that have already made it, that already own 100 million, 200 million, billion-dollar companies, supplement industry or fitness, whatever it is, even though they talk about what it was like when they started, it's something hard for the everyday person to relate to no matter what. And I
right.
think that that's just something we're trying to do here with the culture, which is show that everyday people are doing and taking the same steps as those people that have already made it. It just might not be as big of a thing.
I think it's super cool. And the name of the game is for every single person to go through life and get to where they want to be. Going through life and just sitting there and wanting to, I wish I could, or remember that time that I ran 10 miles 10 years ago? It was awesome. I wish I could get back there. And that's really where the accountability partnership comes in, where it's, hey, I'm going to hold you accountable. So that way that never happens. It's never like, oh man, I used to be able to do that. It's like, no, we're going to hold you to that standard. If you can do it now, then we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep pushing through these hard barriers in life, and we're going to keep pushing, not just with fitness. Now, this is fitness based, right? I mean, that's how we both started. Like fitness took us into that next level. But then it manifests, and when those hard things come in life, you're like, I really can't deal with this, before. But now you to give yourself that self torture every day of running or like going to the gym or whatever the case is, already have that callus when the shit hits the fan, for lack of better words. You're there. You're already there. Your body's already prepared.
So when you're doing that and you're setting goals for yourself every single day, it's about, like you said, it's about setting goals, and it's callousing you and making you do hard things. But the thing about doing hard things and accomplishing those things is the fact that every time you do it, you prove to yourself that you can do it. And those hard things, they're difficult at the time, like running a mile if you haven't ran in 10 years. But then you run a mile and you're like, oh, that wasn't too bad. So then you push it and you push it and you push it. And eventually you're doing these amazing things that you never thought you could do. It all started with running a mile. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. It's just amazing what our bodies are capable of, but our mind gets in the way of that. Ever since we started this journey together, it's been really eye-opening. The reason why we started this is because I'm here to help people. I want people to break through those barriers and push back, get that raise that they want, be a better father they want, or husband or wife, or whatever you want to be, whatever your next step is that you want to fight for. That's why we're here to do it together.
It's like the whole point
Yeah.
of Elevated Freedom. We're not just fitness. You know, we're using fitness as a avenue to get us to that next level, whether that be at work, whether that be in your marriage, whether that be in your friend group, whether it be realizing that maybe this person isn't the right friend, maybe they're not holding me accountable when they should be. And it's about giving you another option outside of just the people in your area to talk to and to set goals with and to share those moments with and share the accountability of setting goals and accomplishing those goals. And I think that's a huge thing with Elevated Freedom that's going to differentiate us from the rest of the industry.
For sure, because if you like, I feel like a lot of people have that. Well, I don't have anybody to go run with. I don't have anybody to go. I don't have a gym partner. Me and Brandon currently live 12 hours apart from each other.
Yeah. But every
So
day it feels like you're right behind me and
yeah,
you're like, get out there and run. You know what I mean? Like, it's like when you have that person,
yeah,
even if and nowadays with all the social media, we want to cut all that out, right? We want to cut out all the negativity and all the nonsense. And we want to create a community of people that have one goal. And now that goal might take many forms, but it's one goal, and that's to improve themselves every single day and have people around them with the same common mission.
absolutely. So now that we've brought out what Elevated Freedom is and what our goal is for the days going forward, I guess we'll break off and we'll talk a little bit about where we started. As for me, a year ago, I was 270 pounds, unhappy. I just didn't like the way life was going. I was in a rut at work. I was in a rut in my household. I just felt terrible all the time, and I could see that person that I was, and I was like, I can't even look in the mirror at that person. I don't like that person. So I decided to do a program that most of you, if you're listening to this podcast, have probably heard of, 75 Hard. And that gave me the discipline to push through and break through. And it's just been on the uphill slope ever since
And
then.
to give a shout out to, Andy Frizella and the 75 Hard program. I know they're starting another one January 1st, and there's a huge group of people doing it. And as you know, it changed your life. It changes tons of people's lives. And I think it's a great tool. But in the same token, I know that our stories aren't too far apart, which is, and I think our stories are similar to a ton of people. You know what I mean? There's so many people right now at this time of night, whatever, sitting on the couch, watching TV, eating junk food, whatever it is, overweight, and they want to, like, and they know in their heads that the right decision is to get up tomorrow morning, go on a walk, go on a run, go hike, go do whatever. Just improve. It's not even that it has to be any, you don't have to go run 10 miles on day one, but just take that step and
Yeah.
improve that 1%. Get a little bit better tomorrow. Set an alarm and actually wake up to it. Just get that victory to start out your day and move forward from that time. You know what I mean? And it's the same. It was the same for me. I was 200, I think 65 pounds was the heaviest I was. And I was miserable. And the fact is, getting to where we are today wasn't, like, it wasn't actually that hard. Like we did hard things, but at
Yeah.
the end of the day, I loved every second of it. Like looking back at that first run when I tried to run a half a mile and I'm like looking at my watch, you know, and I'm like, yeah, I didn't know the heart rate went this high. I was like, you know, you, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? And then here we are, and we've been on this journey of fitness and using this to improve our lives for barely any time, right? It's a drop in the bucket.
Right. We're babies
We're
in the game.
babies. And that's the
Babies.
point. At Elevated Freedom, we understand where you're at because we were there. The
Not that long
yeah,
ago.
and the difference is we're not that far away from it now. It's consistency, right? Because if you and I made the decision tomorrow to not get up on time or to not do our workout or to not eat the things we should eat, it's a slippery slope right back down to where you started. But it also
Yeah.
doesn't have to take your whole life, right? It's putting an hour a day or 30 minutes a day, and it's putting it towards the thing that you need to accomplish in your mind to give yourself that win that gives you the confidence to continue. Because you have to have wins, right? If you say, well, I want to be a billionaire, and you go into tomorrow and you don't become a billionaire, like, well, that's probably not a positive. But if being a billionaire is your ultimate goal, and day one, maybe you do research on ways to make more money or ways to start businesses or whatever. It's just small victories. You can still have that big goal at the end of the road, but it's setting
Right.
tasks every day to work towards that end goal.
Right. I'm glad you brought up the whole 1% a day and consistency and the way that I look at it. And I didn't have this vision before. And once I did, it really changed the way that I was progressing. Was if I run 10 miles today, right? That doesn't mean that I don't run tomorrow.
Exactly.
Like when I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, that's a brand new day. It doesn't matter what happened the day before. I have to kill today because, like you said, 1% better a day. That means 1%.
Yeah, it's 1%. It's such a great point. And I think, and like we talked about earlier with the, you're overweight. The first thing you think about when you're overweight is how everybody at the gym or everybody when you go out and walk or run is going to look at you or look down on you or whatever. You're going to be out of
Yeah,
place. And it's like, but it's not about that because everyone out there started at the same place you were at one point or another. And the reality is, and most people don't realize this, the people aren't actually looking at you. Everybody's
no,
much more worried about themselves than everybody realizes. Nobody actually cares what you're doing. It's for yourself. You have to look within. Quit looking at
mhm.
everything around you. Look within and realize that taking that first step is going to be the most important thing you ever did for yourself.
Yeah. People are only going to look at you for what you've accomplished. Now, do you think anybody's looking at you while you're sitting on the couch? Doing nothing, eating the Cheetos. No, they're not. They're just looking at what you're not accomplishing, right? So if you start crushing those goals and you say, hey, I'm going to go online and find a running program. I'm going to run 10 miles in 3 months and you complete it. I mean, they're going to be like, wow, Brandon or Matt, like you killed it. You killed it. You set that goal and you crushed every single day that you were supposed to be there.
And you don't even realize that even in your small communities of people that you already have built, that stuff impacts those people as well. Though,
Mhm.
accomplishing that goal, your significant other, your kids, your friends, whoever it is that's around you, they look at that and they might not tell you to your face. They might not ever say a word about it, but they look at what you did and they realize that, wow, he did it. Anybody can do it, right? And I think
Yeah.
and I've heard that so many times from all the big names in the industry, which is, well, I'm not actually that smart. I just took action, right? And I think that's
Yeah.
something everybody has to realize, which is none of us are any better than anybody else. None of us are doing anything that special. It's just about taking action towards the things that you actually find important.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with that more. It's just astounding the amount of pushback there is also from other people. But you need to use that as fuel. When I did 75 hard, two people that I worked with, they were like, "Man, you ain't gonna last 2 weeks. Oh, you're already on week one? Wow, I'm surprised." Well, 75 days later, when I completed it, they don't even want to look at me because I went against them. And so me personally, I use that as fuel. So if that is something that you are dealing with and going through right now, for lack of better words, fuck them.
Exactly, dude. No, that's a fact. And you set a goal, and guess what? Those people's opinions, that was coal in the steam engine, dude. All that did, like you said, was
That's a good
make that
analogy.
all that did was make you push harder and harder and harder. Like once people question you, All I think now is, all right, I'm just gonna do it 10 times better than what I even originally thought I was gonna do. Just to shove it back
Yeah.
in your face. Because you're sitting
Yeah.
there judging from a place where you're not accomplishing anything. At least we're setting goals. We're getting out there and we're working towards those goals. It's taking action, right? It's using that negativity as fuel. That can go for, even if it's not people around you, just society. I mean, the world's crazy. Things are always happening. But you take that and you pivot it and you turn it into fuel for yourself to keep moving forward and put yourself into a better position where you don't need that stuff, you know? And that's what you and I did. And every day when you and I go out there and we continue to improve, it's about building from within and making that our lives just that much better, where we're that much more self-sustaining and we can take care of our families and we can take care of ourselves. Because if you can't do that, what can you do? You know what I mean? Like, you have a family,
Right.
the only thing you care about is taking care of your family, right? Like, that's the number one responsibility.
Number one.
But if you don't take care of yourself, you'll never be able to take care of them. It's just how it works.
Yeah, yeah. That was a big thing when I was talking about before, was like, yeah, I saw like my daughter's gonna grow up seeing this. So then what is she going to look for when she's older and she wants to, move on with her life and boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever the case is? She's going to go after a guy who sits on the couch and eats Cheetos and is sleeping all the time and doesn't want to get up? No, I don't want that for her. How am I going to support her in her decisions if I can't even support my own?
Exactly. And that's such a common thing. And it goes for people that don't even have the family yet and don't even have
Yeah.
kids. Because we should never let ourselves get to that point. And you and I did. And we saw ourselves in a hole and we realized that there was a problem. And that's the first step. All you have to do, if you're listening to this today, is realize that you have a problem. You have an issue, and what do you do when you have a problem? You try to find a solution. When you go to work, if you have a problem, whether you're in shape or out of shape or whatever, you still have to figure out a solution to it. Otherwise, you're not going to work there anymore. So it's no different. So if you're going to put that in at work and you're going to take care of yourself in those situations, then just do it for yourself. Do it for yourself first, and all those other things are going to get easier. Your
Yeah.
job, your relationship, your life, everything, it's going to be better. And that's the whole point. And I don't even know if we talked about it. Elevated freedom. We want to be elevated. We want to elevate ourselves to a place where we have freedom. Because the more you work on yourself, the more freedom you'll have. And I think that's what people don't realize. They think about all the hard work and all the sweating and all the feeling uncomfortable and all these things, and they don't realize that that's actually what's going to make them more free. The better shape you get in and the more working out you do, the more you realize you have way more time than you thought, and time is freedom.
Right.
So, I mean, I just think elevated freedom is a concept and it's a culture and it's a lifestyle that we just want to bring to everybody, man. And I think that's, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm so excited as well, because the biggest thing ever since I started this and me and you got together and is I have this vision of helping other people get there, because you are so capable of doing it. You just have to do it.
And you are capable. Everybody's capable of it. You and we would have never guessed in a million years we would have been able to go do half the things we've done since we started. At
Mhm.
the time when you're at your lowest, when you're in that hole, when you're at your lowest, you can't even fathom what it looks like to actually accomplish these things that you see other people doing. And that's a whole nother topic, and that's a whole nother episode. Which is,
Oh,
we
for
sit
sure.
there and we stare at people on social media and all these places. That stuff is the highlight reel of their lives. And I want to show, and I know you want to show, we want to help others get what we found, which is freedom through fitness, through discipline, through elevating ourselves to a place where we're better and we're happier. And that's attainable for every single person. I think that's so important.
Yeah. So with it being the time of year that it is, and this being released on January 1st, that brings up the big thing of New Year's resolutions.
New
And
Year's.
in my opinion, New Year's resolutions have a certain place, and I think that they are good. But the problem is that 80% of them fail. And here at Elevated Freedom, we're here to, one, help with that, to be that brotherhood or community to keep you on those goals. And if you find this episode on February 14th, you're about to go out for Valentine's Day, and you find this, It doesn't matter what day it is. We're here to help.
That's such a good point. It's a lifestyle, like you said.
Yeah.
I like what you said about resolutions, and I like how you were trying to be kind to the 300 million people that are going to have a resolution. I think resolutions are like fast food restaurants. They're there. You just probably shouldn't call it that. You probably shouldn't eat there unless you have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like let's have a lifestyle, right? Like you said, every day is January 1st. It doesn't matter. Every day is just another day. I mean, I live up north, so the only thing that changes in my life is one day it's snowing, the next day it's not. You know, but you go into 2024, 2025, 2027, it doesn't really matter. But you show up every day for yourself like you did on every other day. And if you need a resolution to do what's best for you, then make a resolution every day,
Yeah.
right? Like it's about finding what works for you. So
Yeah.
if having a resolution, you and I set a goal, and that comes into the whole thing where resolutions, like you said, most of them fail 80-90%. But you know what would help people with their resolutions, we'll call it? We're not using the word resolution. I don't like the word resolution. The
Yeah.
goal that you have set for yourself, you know what would help? Is a community of like-minded individuals that are surrounding themselves with people just like them that want to elevate to the next level and get that promotion, get that 10-mile run, get that marathon, get that 500-pound deadlift. Surround yourself with the type of people that you want to be. I mean, it's like everyone's heard it a million times, dude. Surround yourself with the 5 people that, you know, make you better or whatever. And that's true. And I fully believe it. I mean, it's worked for you and I having an accountability partner.
Hmm.
But why stop at 5? Elevated Freedom
Right.
is this huge. I mean, right now, who knows when, like you said, when they're going to watch this. This is going to be a community. We're bringing a community of people with common interests to improve themselves on a daily basis. And I think that's the most important. And like we talked about before, I think that's where the industry's missing, which is everybody's trying to sell something or everybody's trying to make a quick buck and become a millionaire. The fact is, point of this business is to help people.
Hmm.
You know, and
Yeah.
that's the whole point. And I think, and you and I have a passion for that because of what we went through.
Yeah. I think I really appreciate you saying the quick book, because it just sparks something in my brain where in this day and age, people want the get rich quick scheme. They want that shot that will make their life the best thing ever. And one thing that like I want to put out there for these people who are watching this video and considering getting into this community is, this is not a get rich quick scheme, because the only get rich quick scheme is consistently showing up. If you don't consistently show up, you're not going to go anywhere. There's no get rich quick. This is a lifestyle. Like you said, this is starts today and it never ends. This is the way you're going to be for the rest of your life. And if you're willing to do that, hop on board. And I would love to do this together. It's only going to make us stronger.
Let's find freedom together. Let's find
Absolutely.
freedom through this community. Because freedom, you know, everybody has their, you know, patriotic view on freedom, whatever you want to, whatever view you want to have on freedom. Freedom to me and freedom to you and the elevated freedom community as a whole is finding the place where you're happy with yourself, with whatever that goal is. Because success and all those things are individual and everybody has their own idea of success. And I'm not saying everybody has to want to be a billionaire or a millionaire or run an ultra marathon, but find what that goal is for you, set it, and consistently show up for yourself. Because if you don't show up for yourself, you're not going to show up for anybody else. That's just how it works. And we talked about this story before, and I'll bring it up just again. When I was fat, I had less confidence than any other time in my life. Like at work, I couldn't lead other people. I couldn't do anything productively because I couldn't even respect myself. And I think that's so important. You and I have talked about this before. If you're in a room and you're in a meeting, right, and you're sitting around a conference table, and this morbidly obese gentleman walks in with a bag of McDonald's in his hand and sits down and says, "I'm here to teach you some stuff today." All right, pause. Next guy walks in. He's 200 pounds. He's in shape. He's dressed well, takes care of himself, sits down and says, "I'm going to teach you something today." Which one are you going to listen to?
The one that's dressed nice for me.
Exactly,
Yeah. Yeah.
because if you take care of yourself, you probably take care of the other things in your life, and you probably have something to share because you take care of yourself, which means that you at least show up and consistently do something. Where if somebody shows up and they're wicked out of shape and they're pounding down some McDonald's in the morning, like the fact is, whether they're the smartest people on planet Earth, the vision you get in your head is, well, they can't even take care of themselves, so why would I trust them to help me?
And I think that's like a unconscious thought too. I think naturally as human beings, you're gonna levitate towards those people who are taking care of themselves. It's the honest truth, and I want that for everybody. I want everybody to be that figure, either in your life or in your job, in your family, whatever that is. I want you to be able to walk into a room with the confidence, knowing that you are going to be one, respected, and two, heard, because your time is valuable. And like we've talked about here, freedom is time and other things, but ultimately, freedom is time. And if you are going to take the time to go out and do something, at least be heard. So give yourself the justice, give yourself the confidence to go out and crush your goal without even having to worry about it.
And that goes back to your family too, and your friend structure and everything else. Like, you want to be heard. Like, that's every person's main thing, right? They want to be heard, they want to be respected, they want to be listened to. And let's just go with the word respected. I want to be respected, you want to be respected. Everybody wants to feel respected, but respect is earned. We've heard it a billion times in our life. Respect is earned. Well, earn it. Show up every day and earn that respect. Quit going into life thinking everybody's going to show up and bend down to you and praise you for just showing up to work and then going home.
Yeah.
That's not to be praised. That's not going above and beyond. But like we said, it's not even that hard to show up for yourself. It's taking an hour a day. You can still be the best family man, the best dad, the best friend. You can still be all those things and still give yourself the time you need. And we were talking about 2024. So we were in a rabbit hole there. We'll go back to 2024. So show up for yourself on January 1st. I challenge you, Elevated Freedom challenges you to show up and set one goal for January 1st. We're not going to get in shape in 2024. We're not going to do some random vague goal. We're going to start on January 1st. You're going to set an alarm for whatever time it is that you need to get up so you can show up for yourself and get a workout in, or read a book, or whatever it is. Start there, right? Start there and win that first step in January 1st, 2024, and just do one thing for yourself on January 1st, 2024, and that'll start an effect. It'll be like a train rolling down the tracks, man. You win that first thing, it's going to feel good, and then you're going to set another goal and another goal and another goal, and you're going to crush all those goals, and it's going to motivate you to keep going time and time again and keep showing up for yourself, because you're going to keep building confidence and you're going to learn how good it feels to show up for yourself and take care of yourself.
Yeah, I think we should coin a new thing here. It's not a New Year's resolution; it's a New Day's resolution. Every goal starts the day before, right? So on December 31st, you're going to set that goal, your New Day's resolution, and you're going to kill your goal on January 1st. And then what happens on the night of January 1st? You're going to do it again. And let's just keep that train rolling until we see each other on the next podcast and we are just that 1% better, or that 10% better if it's 10 days from now. I want you to keep crushing your goals every single day to get to that next point.
Exactly, dude. And that's what we want for everybody. This isn't about you and I. This isn't about any. This is about building a community of people that want to be 1% better every day and that want to show up for themselves. And when you set that goal, we're right there by your side. We're going to be doing the same things you're doing. We might wake up at a different time. We might work out at a different time. We might have a different goal, whether, whatever that is. Maybe mine's to run a marathon. My goal and my actions that I take towards that goal might be different than yours, but we're all on the same path and we're all improving every single day. And the New Day resolution, I love it, dude. And I think it speaks to everything we want to do here, which is it's a lifestyle. And that's why it's the New Day resolution, because every single day from here forward, starting now, you're going to show up for yourself and you're going to take care of yourself so you can take care of everybody else. And that's just how it works. And it's going to help you in your job, in your family, in your personal life. Everything is going to improve based on you taking the time for yourself every single day.
Absolutely. And I think that is how we're going to move forward. And I appreciate you listening in to Elevated Freedoms podcast today. And I cannot wait. And I look forward to talking to you again. Catch you soon.